How we doing, everybody? We're back with the worst tournament of the year. I'm here with my boy Third and Schlong and Mitchell Snyder. How we doing, Snyder?
We're doing pretty good. Gonna try and break this down with. I think there's only 2 of the top 50 in the WGR in this event, and it kind of looks like that. But like you're saying pre-show, it looks like Rasmus didn't play in the Ryder Cup, so he's gonna play here.
Yeah. He sure as fuck is. Bryce, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Just watching some playoff baseball here.
Yankees got the dub.
Yeah, every team that lost yesterday has won today so far. I don't think the Reds will pull it out against the Dodgers here, but
Yeah,
makes for a good 3-game slate tomorrow.
another win there. I think I'm up to what is it, like 13-1 now? 13-1 on the playoffs so far.
What'd you lose? One of the totals?
No, I lost the Cubs side today.
Cubs
Every
side.
total is hit, but I lost the Cubs side today.
Over
13-1
over
so
in the
far.
over in the Dodgers game.
Over and the Dodgers is the bet
Minus
for that
1.5.
game. Hopefully, you push it to 15-1. Been a crazy run here at Run Pure Sports in the playoff baseball. Snyder dressed in honor of Zach Taylor. I don't know if that's what's going on. But why don't we just get started? Fuck. This tournament, it's you got a lot of these mid-tier guys that are trying to get a win so that they can get their exemptions for the following years. You're looking at a slate where Kevin Yu is the second most expensive person. It's crazy. So let's just start with 9,500 and up. Thorbjornsen up to Badia. Snyder, how do you feel about this range of 6 guys? Because I know that I kind of like the range, but there are a couple that suck and a couple that stick out.
Yeah, I think I'll be playing 2 of these guys on a lot of my teams. Gonna start out with Thor here at the bottom here. I think played Thor a ton last year, crushed it for us down the stretch there, late June, July. Had a really good run there, and then he came back at the Pro Core with a T13. He was top 10 here at this event last year, so I think Thor is one of the best plays. 9,500. You can jam a couple of these guys in pretty easily this week. So Thor is definitely going to be my first guy in this week. Not going to play Rasmus. Davis Thompson is it's either Davis Thompson or Akshay is my second favorite. I've been playing Davis Thompson a good amount in these weaker type field events. Really good birdie upside for him. Isn't as long off the tee. For this event, I'm looking for bombers and then strokes gain tee to green guys. Thompson still hits the ball just a little over 300 yards, which is fine for here. The rough is going to be pretty short here, right around 2.5 inches. So I think you can just kind of bomb and gouge this place. It's going to be a ton of birdies made here. Like last year, we saw the winner at 23 under with Kevin Yu, who putted lights out last year. I don't think Kevin Yu is going to make or gain 8.5 strokes putting this week, so I think that's going to kind of mitigate him. I'm going to be off Kevin Yu this year, this week. I like Akshay up top. He's got the best odds, slightly over Min Woo. I think Min Woo is actually one of the better tournament plays because he's going to be about a third the ownership of Akshay, I think. And
really,
in the same odds of him, I've got Min Woo right around 12 to 15%, and I've got Akshay approaching 30 to 35%. So I think Min Woo is a really good large field tournament play this week. Has the win equity. I mean, the game has definitely been up and down for him this year. I mean, he's really struggled at times. He had a couple of good rounds overseas recently. Putted really well overseas. Those greens are a lot slower than we'll see this week. We'll see greens around 12 to 13 this week. So it's kind of been hit or miss. Struggled on some of the faster surfaces as of late, but Min Woo just absolutely nukes it off the tee. So I think he's got some really good win equity. I mean, as we see in the betting odds, he's right there, basically tied with Akshay, close to for the best odds in this event. But Thor, number 1 for me, Davis Thompson or Akshay, number 2, and I think Min Woo is a really good large field play.
Bryce.
I pretty much have the same take as Snyder here on this range. I'll be selling Akshay if he gets to that percentage. I just, he's 20. I do think he's the best golfer in this field, but it's very close. And, he's 20-1. If he's going to be 35%, like I'm going to be, 15 to 20? So kind of going to let ownership determine that one, but I expect that to be a sell. Minwoo, I expect to be a buy here. I'm going to be mid-20s on him. I like Minwoo a good amount here. Snyder mentioned he's basically a flip with Akshay. In cash, I wouldn't play Minwoo over Akshay, but in tournaments, I think it's a complete flip. So I'll side with Minwoo there. Kevin Yu, I think definitely goes overlooked here. He's my lowest owned of this group by a decent margin. Thompson and Hogard, I like. If I had to pick for leverage, probably Minwoo over these guys because I do expect them to get some ownership, especially Rasmus here. And then Thorpe Jorgensen. Snyder, do you think he'll be chalk?
Yeah. I think he's going to kind of get up there. I've seen his ownership rise from yesterday to today, so I think there's a chance that he could be like 25% or something, yeah.
To me, this seems like the classic guy who's like over-owned in high stakes and under-owned in low stakes type of deal. So, I personally wouldn't play Thorpe in high stakes here just because I expect him to steam a lot there, but he's a guy I really want to hammer in like the $25 GPP. So I have like 30% Thorpe here in my 150, but like I would try and play it weirder. And like if I was playing like a single entry type of team, like I would start it with Minwoo and then probably play one of Thompson or Rasmus, whichever one you prefer, is kind of how I would start my team at the top.
I agree. I think Thorpe Bjornsson is the best play on the board by a significant margin, and Minwoo is second. After them, I would say Akshay is next. If Akshay is really going to carry that kind of crazy ownership, then I would gladly lean into Thorpe Bjornsson and Minwoo Lee instead. After them in this range, Davis Thompson and Højgaard are significantly better plays than you. I suspect Kevin Yu will not carry much ownership. So, didn't he win this last year?
Yeah, he putted lights out though.
So, but so only people that are really looking at that kind of thing are going to play Kevin Yu. So, not really interested in him from that perspective. I get into the next range. JT Poston 9,400. We'll go down to. Let's just go ahead and go down to Homa at 84. So 94 to 84. JT Poston down to Max Homa. Bryce, who do you like in this range? I know that Rico Hoey is a target for me. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I like Rico a good amount here. We can kind of start at the top here. I don't really have as much Poston as probably the field here. He's under 10% for me, so I'm assuming that's going to be a sell. After him, Griot, I'm sitting around 15% Griot. I do like him more than Poston. I think Poston would have to have basically like an incredible putting week, which he is live to have to kind of keep up with some of these other guys. I do think there's a decent drop off between like Thorpe Jorgensen in this range here. So it's just kind of skewing me towards the bottom end of the range a bit here. Some guys I do like. We had mentioned Rico Hoey. I like him. I like him a lot. I just think he has a ton of upside here. The other Højgaard I think is a good play as well. Those would be my favorite two out of these top five in the 9Ks. Moving into the 8Ks, Smalley is kind of whatever to me. I mean, he can get like really hot and make a ton of birdies though. So he's sitting just above 10% for me. I played this range pretty flat in general with Homa being my big buy, actually. I just kind of think the course sets up great for him, and he kind of has something to prove right now. I'm never really a Max Homa guy, but, give me him at 35 to 1 here all day. Depressed price at 8,400. Like, I mean, you could make an argument that Max Homa is still the best golfer in this field. I think it would be Akshay, but I still think Max Homa is like a quality golfer, and I'm much more willing to play him at a depressed price, playing like shit golfers as opposed to playing like, I don't know, the Scotty Schefflers of the world. In the range, I kind of glanced over a bit. Clanton is my guy, but I can't do him here. I just don't think he's right now. Keith Mitchell, I do like a decent amount. And then who's the other one here? Mackenzie Hughes. I think he's solid. I don't think he's spectacular. A lot of this tournament to me is kind of like fading some of like the big chalk and kind of playing it a little bit flatter than I normally do.
Mitch?
Yeah, I'm right up the top. I'll start here at JD Posted. He's a guy I like to play in these weaker type field events. Have some pretty good upside. 9,400 is not bad. He had a couple good finishes here. It's been a while, but 2021 he finished third, and then in 2020 he was T11. Hasn't played here in the last couple of years, so has some course history here. Grillo is a guy that I always like to play in these weaker type field events. The price tag's a little up there. The betting markets aren't really in agreement with where he's priced, but I still like his upside. T4 at the Pro Core in his last event. It was T11 last year at this event. Has made the cut here for the last 5 years. So I like his upside as always. Bridgman is a guy I don't know if I'm going to get to. He made the playoffs. Didn't really play the best in the playoffs. He has a T11 at this event last time. Kind of one of the shorter hitters too. I think Nikolai is going to get some ownership. He's a good bomber, though. I think he's right up near the top in average distance off the tee last 36 rounds. Rico Hoey is definitely a guy I like. He's gaining everywhere except for putting. If he can he's basically like Scotty Scheffler, tee to green, and then like Luke List putting. But if he can somehow putt to a 0 or something, Rico will definitely be there on Sunday towards the end. So definitely going to be overweight on Rico. Alex Smalley is a guy with some of the better course history in the field. T5, T16, and T31 his last 3 trips here. The form is just really bad for him right now. He's really struggling with the approach, struggling with the short game. So I'll probably be off of Smalley. If people just look at his course history, I think he could potentially get some ownership, but I'll probably be off of Smalley. Mac Hughes is a guy I like. T7 in his last event at the Pro Core, T8 here. He's just a guy I like to play at this price in these fields. I think he's fine here. T35 in his other in 2022 here, he's fine. The thing I'm having a trouble here with is I guess I'll hit on Luke Clanton here first. I just love the upside, like Bryce said. I love the upside of Luke Clanton. JBC's got the picture with him when he was hitting the ball better, but I mean he's not doing good right now. He is just in the dumps right now. So we got to wait for him to kind of bounce back. Really struggling off the tee, trying to hit fairways and such. Just something not going to matter as much here, but 8,600, no for Luke Clanton. If he was like 7,600, I would click his name a lot more, but it's just a little too much for him there. Max Homa is a guy that I haven't played this year at all, but I may have to dip my toes into the water with some Max Homa this week at 8,400. Keith Mitchell was T3 here last year, but I think that was kind of an outlier as he had missed the cut the last 3 trips before that and has really bad history. So I'll probably be off, or bad recent form. So I'll probably be off of Keith Mitchell. What price are we going down to, Max Homa?
Homa's the bottom.
Homa.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so my favorite in this range is probably going to be, I like Rico and Grillo the best probably.
Yeah, in this range, I think Rico Hoey is significantly better than pretty much everybody else in this range. As Snyder spoke about, tee to green, he is elite, and on these types of easy courses, I really want to lean into him. I think he's, you could have priced him up at like 9,700, 9,800. I would still play him. After him, Nikolai Højgaard, 9,100. He's just a lot more skilled than a lot of these guys. I don't care if the course fit is a little off. He's a much better player than this is the guy who's playing the Ryder Cup, and you're pricing him with Jacob Bridgman. So, I like Nikolai Højgaard in this range. Homa, 8,400. We spoke about California boy. He's just so talented and he's been so bad recently. But I feel like this is a point or a tournament where he could get back to where he needs to be. After him, you guys spoke on Mac Hughes and Alex Smalley. Those are plays that really, it's tough to choke down, but I prefer them to Cameron Champ, Luke Clanton, Bridgman, et cetera, Keith Mitchell, in that range. So now we'll go to the next range. We'll go from San Stevens, 8,300 down to Taylor Moore, 75. Snyder, the 8,300 to 7,500 range. Who you like in this little upper mid range?
Yeah, Sam Stevens is the guy that's kind of popping out on a few things I've listened to around the industry last couple of days or so. He's got the upside for sure. Definitely will be in the player pool. I don't know how much I'll get to him depending on if I see his ownership start to increase or not. But he's definitely a guy that would be in the 3-max pool, though. If I was building 3 teams, I definitely want him in there. Garrick Higo is a bomber off the tee. I really like his upside. T7 in his last event there at that Procore. He was T16 here a couple of years ago as well. So I think Higo's a pretty good upside play, 8,200. Matt Wallace, interesting to see Matt Wallace at this event, I think, because he usually plays in that Alfred Dunhill event overseas. So he's coming over here to play in this over that, which makes me think that he thinks his game's kind of firing right now and wants to grab some FedEx Cup points here on the cheap, I think. So I think Matt Wallace has his game ready to try and pick off, a top 10 or something at this event. He had a couple of good events overseas. At the European Masters, he was runner-up in that event. At the 3M back at late July, he finished T3 as well. So I think he's a guy that should be in the pool. Bo Hostler, runner-up last year here. Had some good recent form. Has some four of his last 6 events were top 15 or better. And then has some good course history here. I think he's going to get pretty popular, though. I think he's going to be one of the more popular ones in this low 8K, high 7Ks range. But I think Hostler is definitely a guy. And then the guy right below him, Hubbard, is the other guy that I think is going to get most of the ownership down here. He's a cash guy. I always like playing Hubbard in these week type filled events. He's going to make the cut at a very, very high rate here. He's probably going to finish inside the top 30 with upside. As we saw at the Wyndham, he finished T3 and has a T6 a couple years ago at this event as well. So Hubbard is a really strong play, I think, at 8K flat. Fishburne's a guy I like. I really like his upside. I've been playing him since he joined the tour. Back on the fall swing, he usually crushes these fall swing events. Had a T8 at the Wyndham and a couple of their top 20s down the stretch of July. So I think Fishburne's got a really good upside in this event. He's gaining strokes across the board last 36 rounds as well. Hits a ton of greens. He's hitting almost 80% of his greens last 36 rounds as well. So really like Fishburne. Vince Wiley is the guy that always makes the cut, but his upside is very limited. Although he has finished T16 and T28 in his last 2 trips here, has made the cut in all 5 trips. I think he's a guy that you have to have in the pool for this type of event. I think there's a chance for him to top 10 at this event. Usually we're playing him at this price or low 7Ks in a more stacked field. Don't really want to go to him, but I think there's a lot more validity going to him in this event. Svensson, Benyon, not going to go to. Which was the bottom here that you want to go to? I forgot.
Moore.
Oh, Taylor Moore, yeah. But Zayden Hoot is always a guy has pretty good upside. I mean, he finishes in the top 35 a lot of events throughout the year. Really consistent cut maker. Has a T6 here in 23. So I think Bez is definitely a really good play at 7,600. I think Bez should probably be priced in the 8K range. I could see him up there in this type of field. Doug Gim, super consistent guy. He just really struggles with the putter, though. He's really good tee to green. He's gaining 1.2 strokes tee to green last 36 rounds. So Doug Gim is a really good value play to make the cut and probably finish T30 or better, I think, in this event. And then Taylor Moore, I've heard his name getting mentioned quite a bit. I think I'm going to be off of Taylor Moore. Just not in the best of form right now. He's missed a cut in 3 of his last 4 events. So I'll probably be off of Taylor Moore. He has decent course history here, but I'm probably off of him for this event. My top 2 in this range is probably going to be Hostler and Hubbard, I think, though.
Right.
I like this range a lot, especially the high or the low AKs, the high end of this range. Some of my highest owned golfers here. Started off with Higo. I like him a lot. I think he has a ton of upside here. He would be my favorite play in the entire range personally. I think Matt Wallace is a good play. Mark mentioned mentioned him coming over when he normally plays the Alfred Dunhill. It definitely means that he thinks he can compete here and win. Like I don't think he would be playing this tournament otherwise. Hell, come on. Sorry. he's going nuts and he's going nuts in the background here. He must like himself some of these Euro guys. Coming back to the Americans, Big Bo Hostler, I think has a pretty good floor and upside when you get it. Yeah, I like Bo a lot. Those are my 3 that I really like up here. I think Jaeger's okay. Olsen, I kind of like him as well. I just kind of think this is a range that you smash here, because you're getting a high quality golfer and you're not like breaking the bank for him. Like, if I was making my teams, this is kind of where I would start really filling out like the bulk of the team after grabbing 1 or 2 guys up top. So pretty high on him here. Fishburne, I think is solid. Whaley, I think is good here. He normally doesn't have upside, but in this field, I think he does have upside to perform well. Svensson, I don't like quite as much. Ben Ann, I feel I should be higher on him than I am, but I'm starting at about 10% on him. Zayden Mateo likes all these guys. I'm gonna have to chat away here for 1 second after we're done with this. Zayden Hood, I think is a solid play. Doug Gim, I do prefer over him, and then Taylor Moore is my favorite of the 7.5Ks.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with Bryce's takes for the most part. I think Garrett Higo, 8,200 is the best play in the range. Obviously he has max upside, max downside, so keep that in mind. But obviously we're trying to win the contest, so I do love Garrett Higo up here. Matt Wallace would be next, 8,100. Bryce spoke on it. He wouldn't be playing here if he wasn't confident in his form. So I do love him. Bo Hostler, I think, is the best of both worlds. I think there's upside and there's a high floor at 8K. So those 3 guys I really, really like. I really like those guys. I would say in the next range, Thorbjorn Olsen and Vincent Whaley would be my favorite plays there. I really do not like Hubbard, Jaeger, and Fishburne. After that, Jesper Svensson, I do love at 7,700. Byung-Hun An, I think, is a decent play at 76. Don't like Zayden Hoot. Love Doug Gim and Taylor Moore. Pearson Cootie and Norgard Muller, I think, are middle of the road. So we'll go. The next range will just be the rest of 7Ks, 7,400 down to 7,000. So Semi Valimaki down to Joel Damon. Bryce, are you able to speak without your dog killing you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just gave him a bone, and he is currently hanging out in the bathroom, which is his timeout room. As Adam, as much as we love Mateo picking winners, we do have a show to get through here. So sadly, Mateo is not paid to do this for a living. So need to provide for that little guy. And this is the best way I know how. What range are we going to here? 74 to what?
74 down to 7.
All right, 74 down to 7. Guys I like here. I mean, started off with Valimaki. I think he's one of the best plays in the range. I like him a lot. I think he has a ton of upside. Pretty big fan of his game. in general. Ricky Castillo, I actually do have a decent amount of him. I don't like him quite as much as Valmaki or Schmid. I like Schmid a good amount too, but I'm definitely going to have some Ricky Castillo here. Lee Hodges, I think, is a pretty solid play. Same goes with Takuma Kanaya. Matt Kuchar, just not someone I ever really get to here. I think he's kind of my first like flat fade that we'll get to on the show. I have no Kuchar in my pool, so yeah, not very high on him. Victor Perez, I think, is okay. Tom Kim, I think, is like okay. I think there's kind of a big drop off personally after like the 7,400 guys here. Like obviously there's some others to pick out, but yeah, most of my exposure this week is 74 and above. EVR, that's a guy I never really want to get too involved with. I do think he has some upside, so he will be in the pool. Mac Messier or Messner.
Mac Messier, I like that.
Mac. Well, whose name is Messier?
Mark Messier.
Mark Messier. Yeah, he's like a hockey player, right? Or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling Mac Meister Mac Messier.
Okay, that can be our new bit. That goes to show you how much I like Mac this week. Not tons. Hisatune, not really for me. Hayden Springer, I think's okay. Bramlett, I feel like I should like him more being the bomber that he is. Like Bramlett's always been kind of sneaky long off the tee, but it's not really sure about him this week. Patrick Rogers, I think, is underpriced at 7,100. So I think he's probably my favorite play down here in the lower sevens. Some other guys that I'll be playing here: Joel Damon, Taylor Montgomery, and Steve Fisk and Kevin Roy, kind of round out my pool down in the sevens.
Mitch.
Yeah, down here, I like a few guys here. I'm not really high on. I'm high on a couple, but just not on a lot of the guys here. Lee Hodges, I used to like playing in these type of events. Just in some really rough form right now, so I'll probably be off of him a little bit. I like Ricky Castillo quite a bit here, 7,400. It's got good recent form heading in. Hits the ball off the tee a long ways, about 320 off the tee. It's been good tee to green last 36 rounds. So I like Ricky Castillo quite a bit. I don't think many people are going to go to him. Sami Valmaki's got really good odds for his price tag. Definitely has the upside. Was T2 and T8 on a couple events overseas recently. So I think we've known he's got the upside over here on some of these weaker type field events. He's been in contention a few times. Tom Kim, I'm just not going to continue to play him. I haven't played him this year, and I'll continue to be off him, even though the price tag is very, very tempting for the talent level that Tom Kim had at one point. Matt Kuchar just loves collecting paychecks at these weaker type field events. I think he's a guy that could top 20 here pretty easily. He was T13 at the Barracuda and then T5 at the John Deere back in July. A couple of his recent performances. I think Eric Cole has really good talent for this low 7K range. Has some pretty good course history here, T16 last year, and then had a decent event at the Porcor. He made the cut, which is more than you could say for a lot of his events recently. But Hayden Springer, I love the upside that he has. He was T10 inside the top 10 here last year. Springer hits the ball a lot far away off the tee, has high birdie upside. Some other guys, Slendia, we've seen him pop at times. He was T13 at the Procore. Kevin Roy has some really good upside for the price. Patrick Rogers, I just never get Patrick Rogers right, but he does definitely pop at times, just not when I play him. But Taylor Montgomery, dude's been putting lights out. I mean, if he can just hit his irons and ball striking to basically like a zero, I mean, he's hitting about everything in the hole. He's gaining 1.3 strokes putting per round over the last 36 rounds. Really good form. Just can't hit the ball good enough to finish, but he's still finishing T30 in a lot of these events, hitting the ball pretty poorly. So if he can kind of get that ball striking down. I think he's a guy that could contend to win this event even. Lanto Griffin. I really like playing Lanto in some of these events early in the season and late in the season. He was third at the Pro Tour, has a decent course history here, has a couple of top 30s. T11 is his best finish here as of late. And that's about it for me here in this 7K range. My favorites would probably be, I like Ricky Castillo quite a bit. And then I like Hayden Springer's upside. And probably Lanto Griffin would be my top 3.
We spoke on Patrick Rogers. He's in my core. Like I think Patrick Rogers is by far the best play in this range at 7,100. He should be almost 8,000 to me. So I do love Patrick Rogers. And then as Bryce spoke on, the rest of the good plays in this range are right at the top. Semi Valimaki, Ricky Castillo, Matthias Schmid. I think those are the next 3 after Rogers that I am playing quite a bit. Mac Meissner, 7,200. Do love him. Ryo Hisatsune is definitely getting in the pool. After him, Isaiah Salenda down at 7,100. Obviously can hit it a mile off the tee. After him, Stephen Fisk, Seamus Power, I think are fine down at 7K. Let's get into the dregs. Mitch, who do you like in the 6s?
I'm not trying to end a lot of teams down here, but I'm going to have a few of these guys. Thomas Rosenmiller is a guy that I'll play. Tristan Lawrence has some upside. He had that win overseas about a month ago or so. Ben Coles has some good upside. Chris Ventura has got some good upside. One guy down here, we got Mateo back in the field as well, 6,600 for Mateo. But Michael Lasasso is a guy that I really like this week for a cheaper guy. He just won the NCAA Division I national champion. He set the record for lowest scoring average in a single season in program history for Ole Miss. This event is in Mississippi, pretty much a home game for him. So I really like him. He's a guy that you're going to hear a ton of coming up here soon. You're going to hear the name Michael Lasasso quite a bit. So it's a good spot to get on him pretty early. And I don't think anyone's really going to go to him. Yeah, I've got him right around 1% owned. So I think he's a good guy with some really good birdie upside and a pretty good setting for him, I think, in the home state here. So I like him quite a bit. And then Thomas Rosenmiller, I think, is a guy that has a really good top 30 equity down here as well at 6,900.
Bryce.
Did not play a lot of dregs. I'm not really trying to end my teams in this range, kind of as Snyder alluded to. But some guys that I think are playable. I think Carson Young is playable. I think Chandler Phillips is playable. Davis Riley. Who else do I have in my pool? Mateo, I think, is playable. Tom Hoagie. Chan Kim. And then I think that's the cheapest I went. So, all these guys are 1 to 5% type of dart throws here, kind of just, filling out teams where they need to be filled out. If I was playing, I don't know, say 20 max, I would probably cut it at Patrick Rogers. I think would be the cheapest I would realistically go.
For the most part, I agree with that. I think Thomas Rosenmuller at 6,900 is a pretty good play. Harry Higgs, also 6,900, pretty good play. I know there is somebody in the Discord, I can't remember the guy's name right now, who loves David Skins. This is the time to play David Skins if you were ever going to play David Skins. So I do like David Skins at 6,700. Riley at 6,700, another Mississippi boy. Chandler Phillips and Chris Ventura definitely playable at 6,800. And we will get into the favorite segment of the day, the pick 6. Also, how much money is in my account? Bryce, guess.
696.
Snyder.
I'm going to guess $169.69.
All right, let's see. All right, let me share the screen here. The answer is $46. All right. I'll start with myself here. I'm going Max Homa under 69.5 strokes for round 1. Snyder.
I'm going to go Emiliano Grillo under 69.5 strokes. He's done that in his last 4 round 1s.
There we go. I like that one.
All right.
God, I wish you could bet worse on some of these birdies or better. Actually, you can. I'm going to go Rico Hoey better than 4.5 birdies or better.
Where is he? There you go. Rico Hoey better. I am going to go with Tom Hoagie more than 69. Snyder.
I'm looking at some of these birdies. I'm going to go Davis Thompson more than 4.5 birdies or better. There's 4 par 5s that are pretty easy on this course.
All right. And Bryce, final one.
We don't have Bo Hostler, do we?
Nope.
No, we don't. Bo Hostler better than 4.5 birdies or better.
All right. Max Homa under 69.5 strokes. Emiliano Grillo under 69.5 strokes. Rico Hoey more than 4.5 birdies. Tom Hoagie suck. Davis Thompson more than 4.5 birdies. Bo Hostler more than 4.5 birdies. 10 pays 9.6 to 1. Picks have been submitted. Any final thoughts, Mitch?
I'm looking forward to an action-packed weekend. Got some college football, big UFC card. Mark will be there, and then we got the Sunday sweats, hopefully.
Bryce.
I'm jetting off to Italy after this NFL Sunday, so hopefully have a nice and successful one. Everyone out there, I hope you do as well.
All right. I'll be taking noted Discord member Slappy to the fights along with Boynton and a lot of.
When are you
my
leaving
other
for
friends.
Vegas?
So
When you guys leave?
you guys on the other side.